A red dot sighted pistol at 0 to 10 yards has no advantage over iron sights. It's not faster, it's not more accurate, it has no benefit. And guys are gonna say, well, I think it does. Cool, and go ahead, stick one on your gun. But you're on crack if you think it's an advantage. It is not.
We smoking filtered crack, you stupid piece of shit. Top shelf Zaza disrupted my circadian rhythm.
Why are you running?
It's the great debate of our time. Should you ditch the iron sights and put a red dot sight on your handgun? Well, we went ahead and did some testing to give this debate some real data. So our test here consists of 9 distinct drills, a 7-yard bill drill, which is 6 shots in the A zone as fast as you can, a 10-yard Mozambique, which is 2 to the chest, 1 to the head on 2 separate targets, a 15-yard 2-target engagement, 2 shots on each, a single 15-yard headshot, then a 15-yard bill drill, again, 6 shots as fast as you can. 25-yard bill drill, same thing, but now a little bit further away. We're starting to push the range for a handgun. Then a 25-yard 2 headshots, so here we have the precision aspect. 50-yard bill drill, and then finally went on to a 100-yard bill drill with a handgun. So this is 40 rounds total. This was shot with the same handguns, but with different sights on each handgun. All right. So here's the results. We have irons, red dot. And we should mention Glock 17, Gen 5, factory iron sights.
VP9 factory irons.
A horrible amalgamation that I'm unwilling to talk about, but it's basically a Glock 17 with a 508T on it.
And this is a VP9 with a Hollow Sun 407.
Yeah, and we shot these all with lights on just because it's a combat handgun and whatnot.
That's how it fits in the holster.
Yeah.
Holster compatibility was an issue if we didn't put lights on.
So if we're going to look at our hits here, for mine, I have 31 hits with the irons in 34.2 seconds. With red dot, I have 36 hits, almost the exact same time. Big difference you'll notice here is twice as many misses. I have 4 misses with the red dot, 9 with the iron. And a miss is nothing, right? Yeah. You just wasted your shot.
With irons, I had 11 misses, and I went down to 5 misses with the red dot.
Yeah. And then look at our A-zone hits. 16 with irons, 28. I'm getting close to doubling my A-zone hits with the red dot.
Yeah. For me, I went from 15 alphas with irons to 19 alphas with red dot, and then I picked up 2 more deltas. So, you know, a lot of this, if you think about it, your mic number is the biggest improvement because misses don't count.
Any shot that misses, you just wasted your time pretty much.
If you think you can shoot fast and your misses are good, then go shoot a match and see where you go on the scoreboard.
And if you just look at the density of the groupings here, we can just visually see the precision. So we're not saying the red dot makes you faster. We're not saying the red dot makes you better. What we're saying is the red dot extends your effective engagement range.
Yeah. Anybody can pound out a bill drill at 7 yards and keep it on the alpha.
Yeah, that's like baby crawling stuff, you know. That should be pretty standard. It's when you're getting out to these kind of 25, 50, I mean 100 yards is kind of ridiculous with the pistol, but why not?
We were getting better hits with red dots than with irons.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that's at 50 and 100 yards.
Yeah, so at 100 yards, I'm still hitting you 50% of the time with a red dot pistol. That's just not going to happen with the irons. Because I can tell you, these misses way out on the edge, those are my further range shots. Your aiming point is just too large. My front post is like this wide on my target at 50 to 100 yards.
Yeah.
So, again, you're extending the effective range, and the only cost of that is, you got to buy the red dot, and it takes a tiny bit of space, a tiny bit of weight.
Size and weight are negligible, effectively.
Yeah.
The biggest trade-off is cost. So if you have a non-optics cut slide, you're probably looking at 200, 250 for machine work and maybe Cerakote and whatever. And then you can get one of these hollow suns for like 240, 250 on a good day. So you're basically looking at 500 to put an optic on the pistol, which is another gun. But I think that you should shoot the gun you have better than buying another gun that you don't need.
Yeah. It is twice the cost of like
An iron
you know,
sight
two,
pistol.
yeah, but okay, no, you're not doubling your performance, but you are cutting in half the number of times you miss, basically.
And you're getting a lot more consistent performance.
Yes. Maybe I shouldn't settle for just mediocrity. Maybe we should excel if we can.
Eventually, you will hit the mechanical limitations of irons, and then you're going to say, maybe I should put a red dot on this. Maybe you should put a red dot on from the start. I don't know. If you don't shoot that much, you won't notice. Don't get me wrong. We both shot plenty of pistol irons, and we landed on pistol red dots.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the reason to stick to irons is pride, maybe. I mean...
Yeah, back in my day, all we had was iron sights. Bill drill at 15 yards, 6 rounds in the alpha as quickly as possible. I didn't even have to shoot that man. These aren't a new thing. I was using a RMR cut Glock in 2017. You had an M&P with something in 2016?
Yeah, I had this little chintzy Burris fast fire on an M&P long slide back before there was red dot divisions for USPSA.
And guys were using frame-mounted optics in like the 90s in USPSA. So slide-mounted was the next evolution, especially for like, you know, duty use, concealed carry use, serious stuff, not just competition. I knew a guy who was using a Glock with a slide cut for a doctor optic in 2013. I had an RMR Glock in 2017.
And it's like, you know, with rifle optics in the 60s or 70s, people are like, why the hell would you put an optic on this thing? Now it's basically standard. Your military scoffed at if you're still using irons. So
A lot of guys have 2 optics on their rifle now.
Yeah, it's just been miniaturized, so now let's bring this technology to the handgun. And at this point, this M&P Compact is bought like a month ago. It already has the right height sights for the red dot, the suppressor height sights, and it's cut for one. I mean, the Glock MOS, the SIG 320, all these things are already cut for the red dot because the red dot is here and it's now pretty much for full-size handguns.
This isn't future technology anymore. It was future technology in 2016.
Yeah, and it's like the electronics on these now are so much more durable and robust. Like, I mean, 50,000 hours on this thing. Like, I don't even. You were making fun of me earlier because I turned it off to save battery. And it's like, what are you gonna? You're gonna get 7 years out of it instead of 8. You know, and
Get real.
So like electronics have improved, and these improvements in electronics go into our optics now. As long as you get a reputable brand.
Yeah. Trijicon released the Type 1 RMR and didn't realize people were going to put it on pistol slides, and they would develop issues over time, but they were still good enough people were doing it. And then they released the Type 2 RMR and fixed those issues, and it's been a standard optic for a lot of people for several years now. I've been using the Hollow Suns a lot. These are good and proven.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I've actually broken 2 Hollow Sun optics. One of them was when Hollow Sun was like first came out, but I just threw the rifle and it broke the mount. They sent me a new piece, I replaced it, it hasn't broken since, and I've still thrown it. And then this one, I chucked it into a muck pond, and it wasn't fully sealed from the factory, so that was a factory defect, and water got behind the emitter. They just sent me a new one. And at this point, I would just get a closed emitter. That's within the past couple years those have come out, like before we equipped ours.
Here's a 509T on top here. It's a closed emitter from Hollow Sun. I had it on this pistol for a while. The only reason I stopped doing it is because I had to use an adapter plate from RMR footprint, and I prefer to go straight to my footprint for my optic, so that's why I switched away from it. I'm probably going to have another direct cut optic for something enclosed soon.
Yeah, and if you're really, really concerned about the durability of these, I'm not willing to throw mine on a pile of bricks or anything, because that's mine. It costs money. But if you go to Sage Dynamics, and we'll link these below, he drops them on concrete and all sorts of stuff. Really tortures them. So if you really, really want to see the real durability of these, you can see them there.
Yeah.
And the backup irons, co-witness, whatever you want to call them, that's not for optic breaks. I mean, like, sure. But primarily what it's for is, you know, coming up and getting your sight picture. When I first started with this thing, I didn't have any backup irons, and I would fish for the dot. I was also really bad because I didn't shoot that much. But now, you know, you just go to find the iron. Oh, there's my dot.
Yeah. That's what I tell people when they first get a pistol with a red dot. Make sure you have the suppressor sights, and then you go up and you look for the front sight post, and the dot is there. It's that simple.
Yeah, and I will say it does take some training to learn between these two. I mean, if I'm shooting an iron sight Glock or whatever, and I switch to the red dot, just take it in and out of the holster, in and out of the holster. Keep getting your sight picture every time. For the live fire, you know, you're going to have to go shoot some rounds to get used to the recoil and finding where your dot is coming back each time. But that's minimal. Like, let's say you use a couple hundred rounds, you're looking at less than $100. And a good range trip, you're getting good training, so you should do that anyway. Because if I'm a shitty shooter with this, because I don't go out and train, and then I put a red dot on, guess what? I'm still a shitty shooter.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to help you there. This is for when I've exceeded the mechanical capability of this firearm. I need more fine instruments attached to my firearm, basically.
You can zero the red dot. Zeroable pistol
Yes.
irons are not a big thing. Maybe on certain competition guns. I mean, in terms of duty gun, you're typically not going to find irons that you zero.
Yeah, because you can get your elevation and windage on these at like half of a way click, probably better. You can just get a stupid good zero with these.
We zeroed these at 25 yards, and, you know, from a bag, shooting rested with a pistol, we could easily keep all of our shots in a 2x2 square, which is pretty darn good for a pistol, and that's zeroed. That's not shooting a 2-inch group, that's shooting a 2x2 group on a target that you're aiming directly at, point of aim, point of impact.
Yeah, like we were testing a SIG 365 the same day with a EPS carry on it, and it's shooting a 2-inch group at like 20 yards. So mechanically, that gun is capable of that. It's your sighting system, you know. I could have the most precise bolt gun out there, but if I have iron sights on it, you know, the optics are the limiting factor. So if you're getting good enough to shoot your handgun well, it's time to upgrade.
Top shelf Zaza disrupted my circadian rhythm. I have seen the Magna Carta. I've seen the Eye of Horror. I was flipping bricks for Mansa Musa before y'all even became a Type 1 civilization.